The sky was burning red when Captain Ryan Hale first saw the alien ship. It hung above the battlefield like a silent mountain made of silver and light. Every soldier on the ground stopped shooting for a second, staring up at the strange beauty of it. No one had seen a ship like that before, smooth, bright, and humming with an energy that felt alive. Ryan had fought in many wars, but this one was different. Humanity wasn't fighting humans anymore. The aliens came from far beyond the known stars, powerful, mysterious, and beautiful in a way that made the heart ache. They called themselves the Elvarians, and people whispered that they didn't come to destroy, but to take back something stolen long ago. But no one really knew the truth. When the first energy blast hit the city, everything turned into chaos. Ryan ran through the smoke and falling glass, shouting for his team. "Delta Squad! Fall back!" he yelled, covering his face from the fire. His boots crunched over broken metal and dust. Somewhere above, the alien ship opened again, releasing smaller crafts that looked like glowing birds flying across the sky. He had only one mission: protect the civilians and get them to safety. But the war zone didn't care about missions. It only cared about survival. As Ryan moved toward the old library where survivors were hiding, he heard something. A soft, trembling sound. It wasn't a scream, not a cry of fear. It was more like music, a gentle hum, almost sad, coming from behind the wreckage. He stopped, aiming his flashlight toward the sound. Behind a fallen beam and a wall of smoke, he saw her, a small figure sitting on the ground, hugging something close to her chest. Her skin was a glowing shade of blue, her long white hair tangled with dust. She looked no older than 8 or 9. Her eyes, large and shining like liquid silver, watched him carefully. In her arms was a small teddy bear, dirty but whole. Ryan froze. An alien child. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then she whispered, her voice soft and shaking, "Please, help me." He lowered his weapon slowly. "You're not safe here," he said, stepping closer. "We have to move." She shook her head, clutching the teddy bear tighter. "They're looking for me." "Who?" Ryan asked, kneeling to her level. "My mother's soldiers," she said. "They think humans took me. They'll destroy everything until they find me." Her words hit him like a punch. So this war, it wasn't random. It was all because of her. Ryan looked around. The city was falling apart. He could hear explosions in the distance, and the sharp cries of drones in the sky. If he left her here, she'd die. If he took her, both of them might. He took a deep breath. "Okay, kid," he said finally. "You're coming with me." She blinked, unsure if she could trust him. But when another blast shook the ground, she reached out and grabbed his hand. Her small blue fingers felt warm against his skin. They ran through broken streets, hiding behind burnt cars and shattered walls. Every few minutes, Ryan would stop to listen. The hum of alien engines, the sound of human jets fighting back, the endless thunder of war. He didn't know why, but he felt something strange. This wasn't just a rescue. It felt bigger, like fate had put them in the same path for a reason. At one point, as they hid in the shadows of an old subway tunnel, the girl looked up at him and asked quietly, "Why did you help me?" Ryan looked at her tired face and said, "Because you asked." She stared at him for a long moment, and then whispered, "Humans are strange." Ryan smiled a little. "You have no idea." The girl told him her name was Lyra. She was not just any alien, she was the princess of the Elvarians, the daughter of their queen. She had escaped from her royal guards after a misunderstanding on their ship. But now, the queen thought humans had kidnapped her, and the war had begun. Ryan listened silently as the truth unfolded. The entire invasion, the burning skies, the falling ships, it was all because of one lost child. He looked at her and realized something terrifying. If he didn't get her home safely, humanity might not survive another sunrise above the ruined city. The alien fleet moved like a storm of light. The queen's voice echoed across the skies in a strange language, calling for her daughter. Lyra looked up, her silver eyes full of tears. "She's angry," she whispered. "She'll destroy your world to find me." Ryan clenched his jaw. Then we'd better find her first. He checked his weapon, lifted the little princess into his arms, and stepped into the smoke-filled horizon, not knowing that this moment would change the fate of both their worlds forever. The night was darker than smoke. Ryan moved carefully through the broken streets, holding Lyra close as the sky above flashed with blue and red light. Every sound echoed the distant scream of ships, the heavy fall of debris, the thunder of alien engines. He could feel Lyra trembling against his chest. Her small hands gripped his jacket tightly, as if afraid he would disappear too. "Stay quiet," he whispered. "We're almost out of the city." She nodded, her silver eyes wide and alert. Even in the shadows, her skin seemed to glow faintly, soft blue light that made her look unreal, like something made of starlight. Ryan stopped near a half-destroyed shop. The sign above it still read pharmacy, though the rest of the letters were burned away. He pushed the door open slowly. It creaked. Inside, the air smelled of dust and medicine. He set Lyra down on a counter and checked his weapon. Only 2 magazines left. His radio was dead, his squad gone. For now, it was just him and the girl. Lyra looked around curiously, touching an empty glass bottle. This place was for healing, she asked. "Yeah," Ryan said, giving a tired smile. "Doctors used to help people here." She tilted her head. "You help people too?" Ryan looked at her, surprised. "I'm a soldier. Soldiers fight." Lyra shook her head. "No. You saved me." "That's not fighting. That's protecting." Her voice was soft, but her words stayed in his mind. For the first time since the war began, Ryan felt something he hadn't felt in years: peace. Even if just for a moment. Then a sound broke the silence, a low hum outside, followed by a flicker of blue light. Ryan turned toward the window and froze. Alien drones, 3 of them, gliding through the street like glowing insects, scanning the ruins with narrow beams of white light. "They were searching for her." Ryan whispered. "Stay low." He pulled Lyra under the counter and covered her with his arm. The drones passed by the window, their lights sweeping across the room. For a moment, one beam stopped right where they hid. Ryan held his breath. Lyra pressed her face into his chest, her tiny hands gripping his sleeve. The beam moved on. The hum grew faint. After a minute, Ryan exhaled slowly. "We can't stay here," he said. "They're searching every block." Lyra nodded, her eyes shining with tears. "They'll never stop. My mother will destroy everything until she finds me." Ryan looked at her, his voice low and steady. "Then we find her first. You said your mother doesn't know you ran away, right?" Lyra nodded. "She thinks humans captured me." "Then we need to show her the truth," Ryan said. "If she sees you safe, maybe she'll stop the attack." Lyra looked unsure. "You would take me to her? Even when your people hate us?" Ryan gave a small smile. "I don't fight for hate, kid. I fight for what's right." They moved again, slipping through the shadows of fallen buildings. Sometimes, they saw humans too. Soldiers firing rockets into the sky, shouting orders. No one noticed them in the dark. To the soldiers, Ryan was just another ghost in the chaos. As they reached the edge of the city, the ground shook violently. In the distance, a massive explosion tore through the skyline, sending waves of fire and dust into the air. Ryan pulled Lyra close, shielding her from the shockwave. She looked up at him, terrified. "That was my mother's ship," she said quietly. "She's coming closer." Ryan stared at the horizon. The alien mothership was descending, its enormous shadow swallowing the stars. Lightning crawled across its surface, and deep inside, a pulse of blue energy glowed like a beating heart. The world seemed to hold its breath. Then, a sudden voice echoed through the air, not from speakers, not from machines, but from inside their minds. A voice full of power and sadness. "Lyra, where are you? Who has taken you?" Lyra gasped and clutched her head. "She's speaking to me. She's using the mind link." Ryan crouched beside her. "Can you answer her?" "No," Lyra cried. "If I speak, she will find us. Her soldiers will come." Ryan thought quickly. They needed to leave fast. but the mothership was blocking the sky. He remembered an old military base on the outskirts of the city, one that had communication towers underground. If he could reach that, maybe he could contact command or send a signal strong enough to reach the aliens peacefully. "Lara," he said, lifting her gently, "we're heading to the old base. It's safer underground." She nodded weakly, still shaking from her mother's voice, as they ran through the broken highway. The rain began to fall, thick drops of ash and water mixed together. The ground was slippery, the air full of the smell of burning metal, but Ryan kept moving. Behind them, the alien drones appeared again, faster this time, their lights cutting through the rain. Ryan fired twice, hitting one. It exploded in a flash of blue sparks. Lara covered her ears from the noise. Ryan turned and kept running. His legs ached, his lungs burned, but he didn't stop. At last, they reached the base's entrance. A large steel door half buried under rubble. Ryan forced it open and pulled Lyra inside. The air was cold and silent. They moved down the dark tunnel, flashlights flickering against the concrete walls. For the first time that night, it felt safe. Lyra sat on a step, breathing fast. "Why do you care so much?" she asked softly. "You don't even know me." Ryan looked at her and said, "Because someone has to stop this war. And maybe that someone is us." Lyra smiled faintly. Her glow dimmed a little as she closed her eyes to rest. Ryan looked around the old command room, dusty, abandoned, but still full of hope. He didn't know what would happen next, but one thing was certain. He would protect her, no matter the cost. And above the clouds, the alien queen's eyes burned like stars, searching for the one human brave enough to defy her. The underground base was cold and silent, hidden deep beneath the earth. Dust covered the metal floors and old control panels. Broken screens flickered weak light, like tired eyes trying to wake up after years of sleep. Ryan set Lyra down beside an old generator. "Stay close," he said. "If this place still works, we might have a way to contact your mother safely." Lyra looked around with wide, curious eyes. "You think she will listen?" Ryan checked the power box, wiping away rust with his sleeve. "I don't know," he said honestly. "But it's better than letting her destroy the world looking for you." He flipped a few switches, and the room came alive with a low hum. Old lights buzzed overhead. For the first time since the invasion started, Ryan felt a small spark of hope. Lyra's soft blue glow reflected off the steel walls. She walked slowly toward a cracked glass panel that still showed a map of the city. Her finger touched a blinking red spot. "That's her ship," she whispered. "She's close." Ryan leaned over her shoulder. "Then we don't have much time." He sat at the main console and began typing. The system was old, maybe from before the first alien contact, but still functional. He tried to reach Human Command, sending out a coded message. "This is Captain Ryan Hale. I have a living alien child. She's not hostile." Repeat, "not hostile." Stand down attacks. Attempting contact with alien mothership. The machine beeped, trying to send. The signal bar flickered, weak but alive. Ryan held his breath. Then, a voice came through the speaker, faint and broken. "Ryan. Is that you? Where are you transmitting from?" He grabbed the mic. "Command, this is Hale. I'm under the city Sector 9 base. I have the alien princess. She's just a child. The invasion isn't an attack, it's a rescue mission. You have to stop firing." There was silence. Then the voice replied, "Negative. That's enemy deception. Stay where you are. Evac squad inbound. Eliminate any alien presence." Ryan's stomach twisted. "No," he muttered. "They don't believe me." Lyra stood beside him, her eyes full of fear. "They think I'm lying, don't they?" Ryan nodded slowly. "They'll come for both of us." Before he could plan their next move, the ground rumbled. Dust fell from the ceiling. From above, a deep sound echoed, not from human engines, but alien ones. Lyra turned pale. "They found us too." Ryan ran to the surveillance screen. Through one working camera feed, he saw blue lights moving through the streets. Elvarian soldiers, tall and elegant, wearing silver armor that shimmered like liquid. They moved silently, scanning for heat signals. "Your mother's soldiers," Ryan said. Lyra nodded slowly. "If they see you with me, they'll think you stole me." Ryan clenched his fists. "Then, I guess we hide." He grabbed his rifle, checked the last magazine, and led Lyra into the back tunnels. The base was a maze of narrow passages and cold air. Their footsteps echoed softly. Every sound felt too loud, every shadow alive. Lyra followed closely, clutching her teddy bear. "They're linked to her," she whispered. "The soldiers can hear her thoughts. If she's angry, they'll be ruthless." Ryan looked back at her. "Then we have to make her see the truth before anyone dies." They reached an old radio chamber deep underground. A massive antenna hung from the ceiling like a sleeping spider. Ryan looked at it, then at Lyra. "If I can boost the signal, maybe I can send her a direct message to her ship." Lyra hesitated. "That's dangerous. If she feels your mind, she might destroy you." Ryan smiled faintly. "She'll feel the truth too. That's worth the risk." He started connecting wires, sparks flashing as he reactivated the antenna. Lyra placed her small, glowing hands over the console. "I can help," she said softly. "My energy can amplify your signal." Blue light spread across the metal-like veins of lightning. The console lit up, humming louder and louder. Ryan felt a rush of power, something ancient, alien, and alive. Then, the air shimmered. A voice filled the room, strong, deep, and echoing with emotion. "Human, what have you done with my daughter?" Ryan froze. The voice wasn't coming through the speaker, it was in his head. He felt pressure, like someone touching his thoughts. He could see flashes, a tall figure in silver robes, glowing eyes, a crown of light. The alien queen. "I didn't harm her," Ryan said aloud. "She's safe with me." Lies. The voice trembled with rage. "You invaded our world. You took her from me. She ran away." Ryan shouted. "She told me everything. She was scared. She didn't mean to start this war." Silence. Then, the air pulsed again. Ryan felt something like sadness through the link. A soft echo of pain. "Show me." Ryan looked at Lyra. She stepped forward, her silver eyes glowing. "Mother, it's me." The light around her grew brighter. Ryan felt warmth spread through the room. The Queen's voice softened. "Lyra, my child, you are alive, ... But before Ryan could breathe in relief, the console exploded in a burst of light. Sparks rained down. The link broke. Smoke filled the room. Lyra screamed. Ryan grabbed her and pulled her away from the fire. The power died. Darkness fell again. From above, the sound of boots echoed, human and alien, both closing in. Ryan coughed through the smoke. "They found us." Both of them. Lyra looked up at him, fear and hope mixed in her eyes. "What will you do now?" Ryan raised his weapon and gave a small, tired smile. "What I always do, kid. Try not to die saving the wrong people." Outside, the storm of war grew louder, humans and aliens, both closing in, and Ryan standing between them. With a child who could decide the fate of the entire galaxy, the ground trembled as alien light filled the tunnels. Ryan held his weapon tight, shielding Lyra behind him. From the smoke, silver shadows appeared, tall, glowing soldiers with smooth helmets and bright blue eyes. They moved like ghosts, silent and perfect. One of them spoke in a soft metallic voice. "Human, step away from the royal child." Ryan raised his gun. "If you want her, you'll have to shoot me first." Lyra grabbed his arm. "Please, don't fight them. They serve my mother." Before Ryan could answer, a beam of light shot from the ceiling, wrapping around both of them. He felt his body lift from the ground. The air turned cold, and everything blurred into bright white dot in a flash. The tunnel vanished. When his eyes opened again, Ryan was no longer underground. He stood on a vast, shining floor made of crystal and silver. Above him, windows looked out into the stars. Alien ships drifted like quiet fish in a sea of light. He was inside the mothership. Lyra stood beside him, unharmed but frightened. "She's here," she whispered. From the far end of the hall, a figure appeared. She walked with slow grace, her long gown flowing like liquid silver. Her skin glowed faintly gold, her hair a crown of white light. Her eyes were deep blue, calm, powerful, and old. It was the Queen of the Elvarians. Ryan froze. She was beautiful, but terrifying in her stillness. The air around her seemed alive, filled with energy that made his heart race. The Queen stopped before them. Her voice was soft, but echoed through the room like music. "So, this is the human who stole my daughter." Ryan straightened. "I didn't steal her. She ran away. I saved her from the battlefield." Lyra stepped forward. "Mother, it's true. He protected me. He didn't hurt me." The Queen's eyes flicked toward Ryan. "You expect me to believe that a human, a creature of war, protected a royal child out of kindness?" Ryan met her gaze. "Believe what you want. But if I hadn't found her, she'd be dead." For a long moment, no one spoke. The hall was silent except for the soft hum of the ship. Then the Queen said quietly, "Leave us." The soldiers bowed and disappeared through the side doors. Now it was only the Queen, Lyra, and Ryan. The Queen walked closer, studying him. "You are not like the others," she said. "Most humans attack first. You did not." "I was just doing what anyone decent would do," Ryan said. She tilted her head. "No, humans are not decent by nature. You act out of instinct, not mercy." Ryan clenched his fists. "You don't know us." Her lips curved slightly, almost a smile. "Perhaps not, but I know strength when I see it." She looked at Lyra, then back to him. "You saved a princess. You stood against both your kind and mine. You risked everything for someone you did not understand. That kind of courage is rare." Ryan didn't answer. He was too tired to argue. Then the Queen said something that made his heart stop. "I should kill you, human. You caused chaos in my kingdom, but—" She paused. "My daughter loves you," Lyra gasped. "Mother." The Queen's eyes softened slightly. "Not as a lover, as a protector. She speaks of you with trust, something even my own people have never earned from her. For that, I owe you a debt." Ryan frowned. "I didn't do it for a reward." "I know," said the Queen. "And that is why I will offer you something greater." She took a step closer. The air shimmered around her. "Our world needs balance. Your species may be primitive, but your spirit is strong. I could destroy your armies, or I could unite them. With me?" Ryan blinked, not sure he heard her right. "What are you saying?" The Queen's voice lowered, almost tender. "Be my king, Ryan Hale. Join our kind. Rule beside me. Together, we can bring peace between your world and mine." Lyra's mouth fell open. "Mother, you can't." The Queen turned to her. "Peace requires more than words, my child. It requires connection, trust, and sometimes, love." Ryan stepped back, stunned. "You can't be serious." "I'm human." "You're beyond human," she said. "Yes, but our bond could end the war. No more blood. No more fear." He stared at her. For a moment, he saw not a monster, but a leader. One who carried the pain of losing her child and her people. Still, he shook his head. "I'm not a ruler. I'm a soldier." The Queen smiled faintly. "Every ruler begins as something else. Think about it, Captain Hale. You saved my daughter. Now, you can save 2 worlds." Before he could answer, Lyra grabbed his hand. "Don't trust her. She doesn't want peace, she wants control." Ryan looked between them, the innocent child he saved, and the powerful mother who could end everything with a single thought. The Queen raised her hand, and a beam of blue light surrounded him. "You will have time to decide. Until then, you are my guest." The floor beneath him shifted. A transparent wall rose around him like glass. He was trapped, not in a cell, but in a floating chamber overlooking the stars. Lyra shouted, "Mother, no." But the Queen only looked away. Outside the window, Earth glowed faintly in the distance, small, fragile, and waiting. Ryan pressed his hand against the glass. If peace means being your prisoner, he whispered, then I'll find another way. The Queen turned her back, her voice calm but cold. Then may the stars decide who is right, the human heart, or the will of a queen. Ryan woke to silence. His cell was made of clear glass and soft blue light that hummed quietly, like the air itself was alive. Beyond it, stars floated endlessly, and the silver walls of the alien ship curved in graceful shapes that looked almost human. Almost he touched the wall. It felt warm, almost breathing. Every time he tried to push, the light pushed back stronger, calm but unbreakable. He had been a prisoner before, by enemies, by war, by his own doubts. But this felt different. This was not punishment. It was a test. Through the glowing wall, he could see Lyra sitting outside the cell. 2 guards stood near her, their armor shining like mirrors. She kept her eyes on the floor, her teddy bear clutched tight. Ryan spoke softly. Lyra, she looked up quickly, eyes wide. Ryan, are you okay? I'm fine. Did she hurt you? Lyra shook her head. No, but she's angry. She says you don't understand your place. Ryan frowned. My place? Lyra hesitated. She says you were chosen by the stars. That you're meant to be with her, he sighed. Yeah, she mentioned that. Doesn't sound like much of a choice. Lyra glanced nervously toward the guards, then leaned closer. She's using the heart of Elvarians. It's an ancient crystal. It connects minds, controls thoughts, even memories. She wants to use it to make humans obey her peace. Ryan's eyes narrowed. So her peace isn't real. It's control. Lyra nodded. If she bonds with you through the crystal, she can link both species, humans and Elvarians. Everyone would obey her. There would be no war. But no freedom either. Ryan clenched his fists. Then, I need to stop her. Lyra looked scared. You can't fight her, Ryan. She's too strong. Ryan gave a small smile. Maybe, but I've faced worse odds. A low sound filled the air, a gentle hum that turned into music. The Queen entered the chamber. The guards bowed deeply and stepped aside. She was radiant, dressed in silver robes that shimmered like starlight. Her gaze fell on Ryan. I see you are awake. Ryan met her eyes. You call this hospitality? The Queen smiled slightly. You misunderstand, Captain. You are not a prisoner. You are being prepared. Prepared for what? For unity, she said softly. The heart of Elvaria is ready. When we join minds, the war will end forever. Your people will live under my protection. Ryan stepped closer to the glass. You mean under your control? Her smile faded. Control is not always cruelty. Chaos must be guided. You humans destroy yourselves. You fight each other, poison your world, fear what you don't understand. I can change that. Ryan's voice hardened. By taking away our choices. That's not peace. That's slavery. The Queen's eyes flashed with light. You speak like a soldier, not a leader. That is why you need me. Before Ryan could answer, the door behind her opened and Lyra ran forward. Mother, please stop. He doesn't want this. The Queen looked down at her child gently. My dear, I do this for you, for your future. You will grow up in a world without fear. Lyra shook her head. But it won't be real. People need to be free, even if it hurts. For a brief second, the Queen's expression softened. Sadness flickered in her eyes, but then it disappeared like a shadow under light. She turned back to Ryan. You see, even she has learned to argue like a human. Perhaps that is your greatest weapon, and your greatest curse. She raised her hand, and the light around Ryan's cell glowed brighter. It is time. Ryan felt a sharp pain in his head, like fire running through his thoughts. Images flashed the Queen's memories, her world, her pain. He saw her watching her people die during the first human contact war. He saw her child taken by panic and fear. He saw how much she had lost. Her voice filled his mind. You could end it all, Ryan. One bond, one heartbeat, one rule. Ryan gritted his teeth. And lose what makes us human. Never. The glass cracked. The Queen's eyes widened slightly. She hadn't expected resistance. Ryan focused harder, pushing against the mental energy she sent through the bond. The blue light around him flickered. Lyra cried out, "Ryan, the control crystal. It's above you." He looked up. A glowing sphere, pulsing with blue light, hung from the ceiling. He jumped, hitting it with his fist. Pain shot through him, but the crystal wavered. Sparks of white light scattered like stars. The Queen screamed, her power breaking for a moment. The glass shattered. Ryan fell hard to the floor, but rolled to his feet, grabbing one of the guard's fallen weapons. "Run, Lyra," he shouted. The girl hesitated, tears streaming down her face. "She's my mother." Ryan's voice was firm, but kind. "And she'll still be your mother when this is over." "Go." Lyra ran toward the exit. The Queen rose, fury blazing in her eyes. "You dare defy me?" Ryan aimed the weapon. "You said you wanted peace. Let's start by not killing each other." They stood in silence for a long second, soldier and queen, human and alien, both holding power, both believing they were right. Then, without warning, the ship shook violently. Alarms screamed. From outside, red light filled the windows. The Queen turned sharply. "Your army. They've found us." Ryan looked through the glass wall. Human ships were rising through the clouds, firing missiles at the mothership. The battle had come to the stars. He lowered his weapon. "We're out of time." The Queen stared at him, torn between anger and sorrow. "Then, it seems fate will decide for us." Lyra's voice echoed from the doorway. "Mother, please. Stop the fighting." The Queen closed her eyes. "If I let them live, they will destroy us. If I destroy them, I lose you." Ryan stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Then choose something different. Trust me." The Queen looked at him. Truly looked. The fire in her gaze dimmed slightly. But before she could answer, a massive explosion rocked the ship. The walls split, air rushing out in a howl of wind and fire. Ryan grabbed Lyra as the Queen was thrown back by the blast. Through the broken hole, stars and flames twisted together. Ryan shouted over the roar, "Hold on!" The ship tilted sharply, plunging toward Earth, glowing like a falling star. The alien mothership was falling through the clouds like a wounded star. Fire burned across its silver surface, breaking apart into thousands of glowing pieces that rained down toward Earth. Inside, alarms screamed, and walls twisted under the pressure. Ryan held Lyra close, trying to keep his balance as the floor tilted under them. Sparks burst from the ceiling, filling the air with smoke and light. "Hold on, Lyra," he shouted. The Queen struggled to her feet across the room, her robes torn and glowing faintly with energy. "The power core is breaking. The heart of Elvaria, it's collapsing." Ryan's voice was rough. "Then we have to shut it down before this whole ship burns the planet." The Queen looked at him with disbelief. "You'd help me after all this?" He nodded. "Because if that thing explodes, there'll be no one left to argue with." For a moment, the Queen stared at him. Then she gave a slow nod. "Follow me." They ran together through the burning corridor. Lyra followed behind, coughing from the smoke but refusing to let go of her teddy bear. The ship groaned like a dying creature, the sound echoing through every metal wall. When they reached the power chamber, the sight froze Ryan in his tracks. A massive crystal heart hung in the center of the room, pulsing with blue fire. Cracks spread across its surface, lightning bursting out every few seconds. The light was so bright it felt alive, angry, and desperate. The Queen lifted her hand, sending streams of energy toward it. "It's too unstable," she said. "I can't stop it alone." Ryan looked at the control panel beside her, alien symbols glowing faintly. "Tell me what to do." "You can't," she said. "You don't understand our systems." He stepped forward anyway. "Then make me understand." She looked at him for a long moment, then placed her glowing hand over his. "Our minds must connect. Together, we can control it." Ryan hesitated. "You tried that before." "This time, I won't control you," she said quietly. "I promise." Ryan took a deep breath and nodded. "Let's end this." Their hands met, and suddenly, everything vanished into light. He saw flashes of her world again, cities of crystal, skies filled with singing light, and her people smiling before the first war began. He felt her pain, her loneliness, her endless effort to protect her people. And then she saw his world. The dirt, the rain, the fear, the love. The courage of humans who fought not for power but for hope. Their thoughts joined for one heartbeat. The heart of Elvaria responded, calming slightly. Lyra stood nearby, eyes wide with tears. "You're doing it," she shouted. "It's working." But then, a sharp crack split through the crystal. The energy doubled. The queen gasped, her strength fading. "It's too late," Ryan shouted. "No. We can contain it. Just a little longer." She looked at him, pain and admiration in her eyes. "You would die for this?" He nodded. "For both our worlds, yes." The queen smiled softly. "Then perhaps humans are not what I thought." She reached toward the heart, sending all her remaining energy into it. The light turned pure white. Ryan felt the force push through him like a wave. "Mother!" Lyra screamed. The queen looked at her daughter one last time, her voice gentle. "Live, my child. Remember him?" The heart exploded in a silent flash. When the light faded, Ryan found himself lying on the ground. The ship was quiet. The blue fire was gone. Only a soft glow remained where the crystal had been. "Lyra!" he called weakly. She ran to him, tears shining on her cheeks. "You did it?" she whispered. He looked around. The queen was gone. Only her crown remained, glowing faintly in the broken light. Lyra picked it up, holding it close to her chest. "She saved us." Ryan nodded slowly. "She did." Through the broken walls, the sky opened up. The ship had stopped falling, hovering gently above the ocean. Human jets circled at a distance, waiting but not firing. Lyra looked up at Ryan. "What will happen now?" He smiled faintly. "Now, you go home. Someone has to lead your people." Lyra shook her head. "Not without you." Ryan sighed, looking out at the dawn, spreading across the clouds. "I think I've had enough of ruling worlds. I'm just a soldier." She smiled softly. "Not just a soldier. You're a hero," he laughed weakly. "If you say so." The ship began to hum again, quiet and gentle. Lyra touched a control panel, and the lights surrounded them both. "Where are we going?" Ryan asked. "Home," she said. "Yours." The light carried them down through the morning sky. The ocean sparkled below, golden under the rising sun. They landed on a quiet beach, waves brushing against the sand. Ryan fell to his knees, breathing in the fresh air. Lyra stood beside him, the queen's crown in her hands. She looked toward the sky and whispered, "Goodbye, Mother." A single beam of blue light rose from the distant clouds, fading slowly until only the sun remained. Ryan looked at Lyra. "So, what now, princess?" She smiled through her tears. "Now, we build peace the right way." Ryan nodded, watching the horizon. "Yeah. One choice at a time." The waves rolled in gently, washing over their footprints. The war was over. And somewhere beyond the stars, the queen's voice echoed softly, proud, calm, and full of peace. "You saved my daughter, human, and, in the end, you saved me too."